What's up, YouTube? This is Team Edward TCG here, and today I'm going to be profiling for you my Reptile deck. Now, I actually already did a profile of this deck earlier on my channel, and I actually haven't really changed the deck too much since then. But the deck is a little better than it was, simply because last time I updated this deck was before Exceed Monsters came out. So I remember when Exceed Monsters came out, one of the hypes was that by splashing them into any old deck, it instantly makes the deck a little bit better. Now that element has been a little lost in the 2 years since Exceed Monsters came out, with like the new decks existing just for the purpose of Exceed summoning, and you don't really see as much of that anymore. But I figured, since I didn't really update this deck much since before Exceed Monsters came out, I think in my last profile there was only one Synchro Monster in the extra deck. I figured I'll focus this profile on showing off the different combos that you could do with an older deck with the newer Exceed Monsters. Also, focusing on some of the more generic Synchros that recently came out in Judgment of the Light. So, without further ado, I'll start with the spell cards. The main purpose of the deck is reducing your opponent's monster's attacks to 0 and then manipulating them after you've done that. So if you're constantly reducing attacks to 0, your opponent's going to start playing defensively. So cards like Reptillianne Poison will basically just say, nope, you can't play defensively, you have to go to attack mode. Which is also why Attack Friendly is good in here. This body works really well with Reptillianne Medusa and Gorgon. And then Reptillianne Rage just increases the monster's attack by 800 and it makes them Reptile type. So if you put that onto one of your Synchro or Exceed monsters that aren't Reptile type, it instantly gives them a lot of other support from other cards in your deck. Reptillianne Spawn is good with Reptillianne Vasky. And Recurring Nightmare. A lot of these Reptillianne monsters are dark and have 0 defense. So a lot of them can simply come back with Recurring Nightmare. MST. Damage equals Reptile will be the main searcher of the deck, along with Snake Whistle. Offerings to the Snake Deity is pretty good because you may be left with Naga in attack mode for a little while, so you're going to want these cards that can just get rid of it. And it destroys 2 cards your opponent controls. Why not? Those two. Okay, onto the monsters. I'll start with the level 2 monsters. These are the only 2 level 2s, Reptillianne Viper, and he is the only tuner in the deck. So every Synchro play you're going to be making in the deck involves splashing this guy onto any other monster that you have on the field, and you instantly just morph up that monster. His effect also allows you to take control of an opponent's monster that has 0 attack, so that's really important because then you can make other Synchro and Exceed plays off of that. But since he's the only level 2, I just have one Gachi Gentetsu. Although you could use any other generic extra deck monsters that you want, like Daigusto Phoenix would probably be even better than Gachi, but these are just the ones that I have. So here we go. Reptillianne Naga. Like I said, sometime after she reduces a monster's attack to 0, she goes to attack position and is left there, which is bad because she has 0 attack. But you're constantly going to have Nagas because of damage equals Reptile can always search them out, and cards like Gardna and other stuff also search them out as well. So just splash another Naga onto your Naga. You can morph her into a Slacker Magician. Makes a lot of sense. They also look kind of similar too. And Slacker Magician is pretty good. Good wall. Or if you want to make a Synchro play with Viper, you just morph that Naga up into Colossus. And Colossus is also good in the deck because it goes along with the theme of reducing monsters' attacks to 0. And it does also a pretty big wall. Level 3 monsters in the deck. Reptillianne Gorgon. So, since you only have 3, I only run 1 Exceed monster, wind up Zen mains. Or, if you want to do a Synchro play with Viper, you can morph her into an X-Saber Wayne. You also have Nisbird Colossus as the fourth level 3 monster in the deck, which you could use for play, or you can even take control of your opponent's level 3 monster and make it play that way. But still, you probably wouldn't want to be exceeding or synchroning with Gorgon, or even Colossus for that matter, too often. So that's why I only run these two and no more rank 3s. Rank 4s, however, are very important because I have 9 level 4 monsters in the deck, in addition to the cards that you can take control of from your opponent's side of the field. So for the rank 4s, you got Utopia, Popular Imperative, Black Shipicorn, and Shark Drake. Popular Imperative is actually really good in this deck because, as I said before, if you're constantly reducing your opponent's monsters' attacks to 0 and they start playing defensively, it's great to have cards that could just say, nope, not going to let you do that. So that's that. Shark Drake, in case you have 3 level 4s instead of 2, he's a little more of a boss, higher attack, good effect. And Hydra is the main synchro monster of the deck if you just combine any one of these monsters with Viper. And it requires a Reptilian tuner, and the only one that exists is Viper, so it's kind of cool that Viper just levels up into Hydra that way. One of the boss monsters of the deck is Reptilian Medusa, and she is a level 6, so if you splash a second Medusa onto her, she just instantly levels up into Photon Strike Balancer, or any other rank 6 that you have. And if you want to do a synchro play, she can go up into Red Dragon Archfiend. So that's a really cool way that she morphs up if needs be. Now, moving up to the level 8s, I know that rank 8 monsters are a lot harder to get out in these older decks than they are in the new ones. But I still have one Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon regardless. And it actually can sometimes be practical to make the sacrifice to go into this monster because all 3 of these monsters special summon themselves. So it's better than having to tribute 2 monsters for each of them and then exceeding into Galaxy Eyes. Like, it's not as big a sacrifice. Because this guy you can easily summon with damage equals Reptile anytime you want, since he technically has 0 attack. But these 2 effects, it makes their attack positions different depending on monsters in the graveyard and such. So it's possible that these 2 monsters will come out with very little attack. So if that happens, it's just a great option to be able to just go right into a huge monster like this. And then the last 2 cards in the extra deck are Black Rose Dragon and Ally of Justice Field Marshal. So in case you take control of like an oddly leveled monster like level 5 or something that doesn't exist in this deck, you could just splash it in and make a weird play with one of these 2 monsters. So yeah, another thing I was thinking for these guys would be like Descension's Supreme Sky Dragon when that comes out. Because if one of these guys is pretty weak, just splash a Viper into that, and you get Descension. Like, what a cool card to have in this deck, especially because it's like a Reptile deck and stuff. Like, I don't know, I think that'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.